Revenge films.
My name is Natsuki. I'm currently living with my husband Keisuke and his family. My husband's family owns their own business, and Keisuke's father is the CEO of their own company. Things were going well when Keisuke's grandfather was at the helm, but things started to go downhill once his son took over. Their sales numbers plummeted, and it got very difficult for them to make ends meet. The reason the business declined under my father-in-law was because of his selfish and arrogant personality, as well as his habit of wasting the company's money. I started working at his company recently alongside my husband, but my father-in-law always follows me around and nitpicks everything I do. He always blamed me for the company's declining sales numbers, and even though Keisuke has told him to stop many times, he never listens. So that's why it's been very stressful for me to go to work recently. But I'm still new at the workplace, so I was trying my best to hang in there and withstand the abuse. But after 3 months went by, I got tired of being told that I was useless and incompetent every day. So, to a friend of mine who was in the same industry as I was, I asked her for advice and guidance. I also bought books and other helpful material to learn more about the industry I was in. And I also did a lot of research online. I also took the CPA exam to become a qualified accountant and managed to pass after multiple tries. I worked day and night every day and did my best to get all the chores around the house done in the few remaining hours that I had. But apparently, my father-in-law wasn't really fond of the fact that I was becoming better at my job. I could tell that that was the case because he didn't stop picking on me even after I started producing better results at work. But that didn't really bother me though because I was confident in my skills and knowledge. But one day, things got very heated between us when my father-in-law called me a waste of space. That was the straw that broke the camel's back for me.
God, how many times do I have to tell you that that's not how you're supposed to do it? You're such a slow learner. You know what? Why don't you quit? You're just a waste of space at this point.
What did you just call me? And tell me where I made a mistake. Come on, explain it to me right now. I guess he didn't expect me to talk back to him because he was clearly surprised by what I said. And so, after that day, he stopped bugging me during work. I was able to work more freely and comfortably now, and I am so glad that I stood up for myself. And so, time quickly went by without much changing. Now, it's been 5 years since my husband and I got married, and he's apparently going to be taking over his family's business from his father soon. And on the day that Keisuke officially became the CEO, I went up to his office and told him about a plan that I had been working on. Hey, I need to talk to you about your father.
What about him?
Now that you're the CEO, I think you should fire him.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. But if I do fire my father, you're gonna have to work extra hours for a couple of months before we can find his replacement. Is that okay with you?
Yeah, I'll be fine. So please, fire him as soon as you can.
Alrighty, will do.
And so, Keisuke immediately fired his father on the day that he became the CEO. But my father-in-law was obviously upset with how he was being treated and said this to my husband when Keisuke told him that he was being fired.
You're firing me? You're kidding me, right? Do you know how hard I've worked for this company? You can't fire me. You need me to survive.
Well, if you really want to keep on working here, then you can. But we're not going to pay you anymore. And when I told my father-in-law that, he was at a loss for words. He couldn't say anything back to us and left the office in shame. And for the next 3 years, my husband and I worked together at the company. Because we were short-staffed, things were extremely busy for the first couple of years. But eventually, we were able to restore the company to its former glory. We were able to hire a bunch of new employees, and the amount of work we had to do by ourselves decreased significantly. My father-in-law was disliked by everyone in the industry. And so, now that he doesn't have a job at our company anymore, he's spending his days alone, wondering where he went wrong. He became an alcoholic shortly after getting fired by my husband, and that's why his family is trying their best to keep a safe distance from him. They've been really supportive of us though, and not only do they help out with the chores around the house, they've also given us great advice when it comes to running our company. And because my father-in-law doesn't know how to do any of the chores around the house, he just sits and drinks on the sofa all day. None of us cared to talk to him though, because we all hated him. But that's when he started to become very abusive towards our family. I guess he was feeling very stressed out by his boring life, and he started taking his anger and frustrations out on us. One day, when I was eating dinner at a dining table with my husband, he came up to us and said this.
Why the hell are you making my wife cook for you guys? Make your own food, you assholes!
And he said this to us almost every day. We couldn't believe the way he was talking to us, but we were too lazy to argue against him. But a couple of days later, my father-in-law had a cerebral infraction and was transported to the hospital while my husband and I were at work. We rushed over to the hospital where the doctor told us that he was going to live. He was going to have a few after effects though. And so, after my husband drove back to the office, I visited my father-in-law while he was sleeping on his hospital bed. Hey, how are you feeling, sir? Are you all right?
What took you so long, huh? I've been waiting for you guys to come here for hours!
Well, we were at work, and we came here as soon as we got the call from the hospital.
Excuses, excuses! You always make excuses for yourself, don't you? It's embarrassing, really. But anyway, you sure you can take care of me from now on?
His attitude was pissing me off, so I took a page out of his book and said this to him. Why are you trying to make me take care of you? You should be taking care of yourself. And when I said that, he seemed to be taken aback. Honestly, I don't care if you're sick. You better figure out a way to put yourself in a retirement home because I am definitely not going to take care of you. Now, goodbye. And when I told my family about the conversation I had with my father-in-law at the hospital, they all seemed shocked. I don't want to look after him every day. That's going to be a huge pain in the ass.
Yeah, I agree.
My father-in-law stayed at the hospital for a couple of weeks, but no one visited him again. And once he got home after getting out of the hospital, he started yelling at us at the top of his lungs.
Why the hell did none of you come to visit me? You think you can just neglect me like that? You all need to apologize to me right now!
You're kidding me, right? You almost bankrupted our family's business and now you're acting like we should care about what you have to say? Give me a break.
You can't talk to me like that. I'm your father, and my left hand is paralyzed now, so you guys are gonna have to take care of me from now on.
What a joke. No one is gonna look after you, Dad.
What?
If you want someone to take care of you, then you should admit yourself into a retirement home or something.
Whoa, wait, are you guys being for real right now?
Yes, we are.
Yeah, you have to be joking. I'm never going to admit myself into a retirement home.
And so, after having a huge fight with his wife, my father-in-law eventually gave in and used the money in his savings account to move into a retirement home. But that's when he started acting like a completely different person. He helped us out with the chores around the house and stopped being nasty to us. But we weren't going to change your mind that easily. We still refused to take care of him, and when he moved out of our house, all of our lives became infinitely more comfortable and relaxing. It didn't take long for the people in the retirement home to start hating my father-in-law, and apparently, he now spends most of his days watching TV in his room. I guess he's been feeling lonely lately because he's been calling me a lot these past few weeks. But he always ends up verbally abusing me, so I stopped answering them. My mother-in-law visited him at the retirement home the other day, but apparently he looked so depressed and defeated that it almost felt like she was talking to a complete stranger. But she knew that he brought this all on himself, so she didn't feel bad for him at all. And neither did we. We're going to make sure that we don't make the same mistakes that my father-in-law did. We're going to stay humble and work hard every day to grow our business. And thanks to my husband's leadership skills, our company has been doing very well the last couple of years. We've hired even more employees, and now our workload is even more manageable than before. We've been making so much money recently that we've been able to take our entire family out to trips around the world every year. And after my father-in-law moved out of our house, we were able to restore the peace and quiet we once had in our house. My husband and I have been able to strengthen our bond by working together as well.
How was today's video? If you enjoyed it, please subscribe, like, and leave a comment. Stay tuned for more.